In 1945, while a fireball bloomed over the New Mexico desert, one man whispered words that would echo across generations. "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." This wasn't a display of his poetic flair. It was a cry from the deepest part of a man who had just seen the consequence of his brilliance, the clash between science and morality. That man was Robert Oppenheimer, and those words weren't his own words, but derived from a 2,000 years old scripture. This scripture was written on the battlefield. It is called the Bhagavad Gita. This isn't just the story of a physicist. It's the story of every one of us when we face decisions that seems impossible to us. And it holds a secret you need right now. Not because you are building bombs, but because you're building a life, and the stakes can feel just as heavy. Before we dive into the Bhagavad Gita, let's talk about why stories like this matter. Why a tale written 20 centuries ago can still rearrange your inner world. We stay hooked to stories that subvert our expectations, flip our assumptions, challenge the comfort of what we think we know. Why? Because they grab you with a promise and surprise you with a twist. Just like this story. Arjuna, a warrior prince who is about to go to war. But this is not just any war. It is a war against his family, his cousins, his friends, his teachers. Arjuna drops his bow and collapses onto his chariot, losing his will to fight. "How can I fight those I love?" he says. Krishna, Arjuna's charioteer, a god in human form of whom Arjuna was ignorant of. He doesn't shout. He doesn't shame. He simply says, "This is your dharma. This is your path. And your hesitation is not compassion. It is fear." Oppenheimer read this scripture, not as mythology, but as a mirror. He too was facing a war of conscience, one that demanded action, and the Bhagavad Gita gave him a language for it. The Manhattan Project wasn't just a mission, it was a moral minefield. Oppenheimer wasn't a mad scientist. He was a poet in a lab coat, fluent in multiple languages. A man who quoted the Gita because he needed more than logic to carry the weight of what he'd created. He believed ending the war might require a monster. And in that tension between horror and necessity, he found kinship with Arjuna. Because both men stood before impossible choices. And both men found clarity in the same truth, which said, "You have the right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions." Act with intention. Release the outcome. This isn't passivity. This is power without ego. But you are not a physicist, and you are not on a battlefield. But every single day, you face your own wars. Either you must speak up or stay silent in daring times. Stay in the safe job or pursue your purpose. In something toxic or keep pretending. And just like Arjuna, you get stuck too. The mind spirals. The heart hesitates. But the Gita's wisdom is brutally clear. Clarity doesn't always feel good. Duty doesn't always look glorious. But action, rooted in truth, is the only path through the fog. And what happens when you move through fear instead of away from it? You don't just find peace. You become a force of it. You've heard a story. You've heard a teaching. Now let's bring it to you. Because the power of this story is not in its past. It is in your present. You're sitting on your own battlefield right now. It may not look like Arjuna's. It may not glow like Oppenheimer's. But it's just as sacred. And here's what this ancient text wants you to know. You are not here to be safe. You are here to be true. Even if it scares you. Even if it breaks you. Even if it makes people misunderstand you. And maybe, like Oppenheimer, your greatest challenge isn't doing the wrong thing. It's doing the right thing, even when it costs you everything. The real hero of the Gita is not Arjuna, and it is also not Krishna. It's the space between them. It is the relationship between them, the trust, the dialogue, the willingness to wrestle with doubt in the presence of wisdom. And that's what you're invited to sit with your fear, to ask your questions, to not have it all figured out, but still act anyway. Because detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means freedom from obsession. It's not giving up, but giving over to something wiser, something larger, something that speaks in silence and walks with you into your fire. Maybe your dharma isn't building or destroying. Maybe it is starting the thing you have been too scared to name. Leaving what no longer nourishes you. Choosing truth over approval. Whatever it is, know this. There is no perfect moment. There is no certain future. There is only now. And the Gita doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for your presence. To show up. To move forward. To carry the weight with wisdom, not alone. Before making a decision, ask yourself, can I let go of the result and still act from truth? What is your soul pulling you toward, even if it terrifies you? Start a dialogue with your fear of your dharma. Don't shut down the fear. Have a conversation with it. Ask it why it's there and what it is protecting. You will find your answer right in that moment. Lead with integrity and not the outcome. Let your why anchor your how. And lastly, remember, you are not alone. Even Arjuna had Krishna. Even Oppenheimer had the Gita. Who is your mirror? Who is your guide? This story of gods of war, of bombs and courage. It is not history, but it is a mirror for you right now in your time of need. The Gita didn't give Oppenheimer permission. It gave him a path. Not out of fear, but through it. And maybe that's what you needed too. Because in a world that worships control, the greatest rebellion is surrender. Not to apathy, but to truth, to dharma, to that voice in you that already knows the way, even when your mind forgets. So ask yourself, what would you do if you knew the result wasn't yours to hold? Then do it. This is your battlefield. This is your Gita. If this story cracked something open inside you, don't let it close. Read the Bhagavad Gita. Sit with its paradoxes. Let them breathe in you. Then share the story. Not because it's mine, because it's ours. Because someone else out there is standing at the edge of their moment, and they need to hear this story. You are not wrong for being afraid. You are only called to rise anyway. I will leave a free PDF copy of the Bhagavad Gita in the description in case you have no access to it. This channel is solely for the aim of helping people of modern times to grow spiritually and mentally. So if you would love to see more videos like this, ensure to like, subscribe, and check out the other videos on my channel.